We're at Club One Fitness in Millersville, Maryland with Tony Jeter. How's it going today, Tony?
Pretty good, Juan.
All right, let's go back to February 25th. That was a good day for you. You were fighting for the UBL All-American title against Jose Felix. It pretty much was like a get-back bout for you. Tell me about that fight.
It was a tough fight. Jose Felix was a legit opponent. He didn't have the greatest record, but he had been in there with a who's who in boxing, and he always put a good showing on. I lost to Jose Felix by 5th round stoppage 70 days prior. A lot of people don't know I was on a 60-day suspension, and when I got back to the locker that day, after the fight, when I ended up in the locker room, I said, I gotta fight this kid again. I didn't feel well, at 101 temperature, and I thought that, hey, I could go out there and get this kid. He doesn't have the greatest record. Big mistake. Big mistake, because at the end of the day, I wasn't able to do it. So we made the fight. I started training right away on a medical leave. I started, getting it in. And 70 days later, I fought a kid that had stopped me 70 days prior. And a lot of people, a show I promoted, I did the matchmaking, and I fought the main event in front of my crowd, which was probably more difficult than anything I've ever done in my entire life, because these people at my gym, Club One Fitness, I have to see every day. So if I lose to this kid, the next day I gotta come in and I gotta see these people. So it was definitely a good night for me. It was a get back type bout, and I felt good. I fought 8 rounds, could have done 10 without. Yeah, I could have done 10 easily. I mean, you were there. I mean, I was bouncing around the 8th round.
So after that fight, a few months later, you got the offer to fight with Jimmy Lang on 23rd of June. But that fight didn't happen. Jimmy hurt himself. So how do you feel now about what's going on with that?
How do I feel now? I received a couple phone calls 6.5 weeks out to get a phone call from J.D. Brown, who's one of the best in this business at matchmaking. I mean, he's the best of the best. And he's like, hey, Jimmy's hurt. His knee's hurt. He hurt his knee in sparring. I'm like, okay. 6.5 weeks out. Then I get a call from the father, and they say the bout to go. Jimmy's hurt, and I know people get hurt in boxing. I know we're in a contact sport. Every single fight I've ever been in, I've always been hurt to some extent. I mean, when I train, we're hitting each other. We're hitting bags. I mean, it's contact. So I'm never 100%. But that being said, they guaranteed me that we're going to fight in the fall, and I just look for Jimmy to get better, and we give the fans a good fight. And I think everybody in this area, in the Patriot Center, deserve a good just slugfest. And Jimmy Lang and myself are both live by the shield, die by the shield type fighters. I don't think we're club fighters. That being said, Jimmy Lang's got 38 wins, so I mean, you got to respect the guy to some extent. I mean, he's a legit boxer. So I'm just looking forward to the fall, and I'm getting it in. In the meantime, I'll probably pick up a couple fights. I'm supposed to fight June 23rd in Arlington, Virginia, on the RBA Promotions. Richard Ashby, or Dr. Ashby, is promoting. Myself, Todd Wilson, Brandon Quarles. And, I just look forward to trying to stay as busy as I can, because I'm not a spring chicken. But people forget I took a long layoff. I was inactive for 8 years, which is a good thing. I didn't abuse my body. I didn't take a ton of punishment. So I've been able to come back and stay pretty consistent for the last 4.5 years.
So that fight canceled, and you pick one right back up again. And also in the midst of that fight, you have a card, an amateur card that you're working on, which is June 16th. And how has that been going? I know it's been kind of mixed. You trying to train and you trying to get a fight together. So how's that been going for you?
That's always me. I'm always doing something. Every single fight that I've had, I've always either promoted a show before or after. It's going good. We're gonna have a all-star event with some of the finest DMV boxers to compete on the card. You got Mike Reed, who is one of the best in the world, not just in this country, in the world. And this will be his 3rd time boxing on my show. Dream Team, they always show me love. Buck Reed and Mike Reed. So, you know, we're gonna have Stan Williamson, Omar Shaw, some of the LA boxers, and of course all the Club One Fitness boxers. We got a big team here at Club One Fitness in Millersville, so we're looking forward to it. And I mean, it's going to be right here at Club One in Millersville, which is right between Arundel Mills and, like, I guess Crofton, or we're close to Bowie. We're probably like 15 minutes from Bowie.
Speaking of this fight here, this is not the first fight you guys been putting together. So you've been doing quite a bit of fights since you started getting into the promoting field, right?
We normally throw 3 a year. We normally go June, October, February. We did a pro show in February, a pro-am, but I'm probably gonna up it this year. I'm probably gonna do about 5. Probably gonna do the amateur show June 16th. I'll probably come back in August, do another amateur show, and then barring the Lang thing, hopefully Lang's better, and me and Lang will throw down, because they've given me their word that we're gonna fight. So if everything goes well on that, we fight in September, October. I just hold off. If not, I'll probably promote a pro show here in September, October.
So basically, all your fights, you pretty much promote your own when you fight. You get the fights together and.
Well, no, we've done 3 pro shows. We were under Better Promotions before, and this last show, I guess I worked with Keystone. They helped me out a little bit, but I was the promoter and matchmaker along with Keystone Boxing.
So, Club One Fitness, it seems to be a more than just a fitness club for you. It's actually a good venue for throwing fights.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we've had about 600 people in here on the last pro show and a couple of the amateur shows, but I mean, we could get easily 850 people in here, and the venue is phenomenal because there's not a bad seat. You get a bunch of people in here, everybody's loud, and you can just feel the electricity. So, you know, we're gonna keep plugging away here until we get to the point where we're like, hey, we're sold out, no more, and we're not there yet. So obviously we would never leave here. We have the venue, we have the ring, we own it, it's ours. So, you know, my wife, Kristen, I mean, you know, she has really done a great job with this business. So
let's get into this area, period, the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area. The talent here is phenomenal. We have a lot of great talent here. What do you think? I ask every fighter I interview the same question. What do you think will bring boxing to the level of an Atlantic City or Las Vegas right here? Because we have the talent right here in this area. What you think will get us here?
Well, I think the first thing is everybody's got to be supportive. Like that by far, everybody's got to support Keystone. They got to support Jetter Promotions. They got to support if Jake does it. Everybody's got to come together and support. And for some reason, like, people are so envious and jealous. Like, they just hate on everybody. You know, you got great talents like Dusty Harris, Nick Kistner, Harold Parker, Lamont Peterson. I mean, there's so much talent in this area, but everybody has something negative to say, which I think until we get past that, we'll never be able to compete with any of those other areas, because those other areas really embrace their local fighters. You go to Philadelphia, if you're an out-of-town fighter, just know, unless you knock the guy out, you're not going to win. But you come here, and you're an out-of-town fighter, you might have a chance. And I think that the biggest thing is just those other areas, they really support their fighters. And in the boxing altogether, from the amateur to the pro, I mean, it's just a really supportive in those different areas. This area, not so much. And I think the people the last couple cards that Keystone Stone have been phenomenal. And I think that that's a good step in the right direction, and we need to continue it. All the amateur cards, all the pro cards, people need to come out. You know, people talk about, oh, we don't have boxing, or oh, we don't have this, we don't. Well, do something about it. Buy a ticket. That's the biggest thing you could do to help boxing in this area. Is whenever you see a card, go buy a ticket. Show up. Tell everybody you know.
Yeah, speaking of Keystone, you know, they have pretty much the rest of the year brought up in D.C. at the convention center.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the year is filled up for them. So they're doing a real good job with putting fights in D.C. Gene Mulavisky, he's doing that. I mean, a great job. You know, with his promotion. You know, as far as putting boxing back in the DMV. Let's come back to talk about the amateur side of the boxing. You know, we have some great amateurs, just like we have great professionals. And the card you're throwing here on the 16th is like, you can say close to 20 to 30 fights?
Well, probably, I mean, normally we go until 12 o'clock. I don't know, maybe I get a 2-day license. Normally they'll want me to get another sanctioning fee, but I could probably run off 20, 21 fights. I mean, I got a lot of fights that are going to be on it. You know, we got a lot of open class fights, of course, just like I said, while Mike Reed boxing back on it, which is always a treat, you know, for Mike to come outside of the PG DC area and fight. And we're in Anne Arundel County, we're not in Baltimore, but it's a different area, you know, which is a good thing. And I think a lot of the boxers from the DC PG area, you know, I've had fight on these cards. It's good exposure for a different fan base.
Yeah, you know, Club One Fitness just seemed to catch an eye of a lot of professional fighters. What's some of the fighters that come through?
Wow. You got Paul Williams. Paul Williams, of course, the most notable. He's about to fight Canelo. He trains here. You got Brandon Quarles, undefeated. You got Thomas Williams, undefeated. You got myself. You got George Armenta. You got Josh Davis, undefeated. You got Sherman Ortiz, undefeated. You got Duchesne Crooks, undefeated. You got Phil Jackson, undefeated. Maurice Byarm comes here. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that come through here. I mean, the facility is second to none. I mean, it's 20,000 square feet. You know, probably got about 20 bags out there, 5 speed bag shelves, Olympic-sized boxing ring, saunas, half-court I mean, it's just second to none. You know, and I think that's why Paul Williams and them have set camp up, and they've been here for about a year and a half now. Because when you come here, it's something out of the movies, the gym. And I know a lot of people in the DC area, they don't know, they've never been here, but you got 20 treadmills, ellipticals, everything, TVs everywhere. I mean, it's just a really nice facility. And if you're a boxer and you really want to go and have a training camp or really get it in, this is an ideal place, because it's sort of out of the way, but we're still close to everything.
Yeah, I'm kind of like jumping around a little bit. Let's go back to the Lane card. How did you get the chance to fight? You know, the opportunity to fight Lane, but volunteer. I guess, you know, it fell through. So.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I like Lang. Like, I respected Lang. Well, first off, I've known him since I was a kid, 15 years old. We fought in amateurs together. Never fought each other, but we were together. Like, I've been friends with him. Like, I like him. Like, I legitimately, like, respect him. I think he is great for this area. By far, when he's gone, there's going to be a big gap in the fights for this area, because every time he fights, he gives 5 to 6 to 7, you know, other bouts, which will in return put 10 to 15 other fighters on his card, and that gives him money, that gives, you know, people that work at the events. So he really has gave this area a boost in the boxing. How did the chance arise? JD called me up and said, hey, you want to fight Lang? And I was like, really?
Just like that?
Just like that, like literally, just like, dude. I thought I was being punked. Like I thought somebody was gonna jump out, like, "Ah, we punked you." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "We're friends." He's like, "Ah, you know, this, that, and the other." But I said, "Yeah, and we came to an agreement. We came to a financial agreement." And I said, "Yeah, I'd fight him. I think it's a good opportunity for me, as I had the layoff, but I beat a guy like that who's rated in the top 20 in the world. I mean, it would help me. Could do nothing but help me. And I think it would be a great fight for this area, because you get to see Lang with a legitimate middleweight, and not saying that I'm the greatest, but if anybody knows me, and putting all of the haters aside, they know I'm coming to fight. I mean, you could attest to that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get my best. Whether that's good enough to beat Lang, I was definitely coming to kick his butt. That not being disrespectful, but I gotta believe in myself. I wouldn't have took the fight if I didn't think I could win.
There you have it. Straight from Tony Jeter, Club One Fitness, Pro Am Fight Talk, Juan Marshall.